brings us to the very end of the second round. Now we move on to our judges for their rounds of questioning. Round 3, Dara, may we begin with you if you're ready. Okay, Professor Eze, please go ahead.
It was a lively debate, I can tell you. Both teams are matched equally, so to speak. Well, the premise givers, Ruby, you made a very clear statement. So did the premise giver for the Caritas team. Yes. So, coming to the Ruby team, Muobodo did say something that abortion is medically advised. When it is medically advised, it is unethical. If it is medically advised, where then does the unethical aspect of it come in? That's what I want you to clear. Because in medicine, everything that is medically advised becomes ethical. So you may want to tell me when it becomes unethical, when abortion is medically advised. Then Aneke did mention that 63 million lives are lost. When and who gave you that figure? I want to know. Coming to Caritas, let me start with the last speaker who did summary. You talked about abortion now that medicine has advanced, that it will be safe. Can you guarantee that every abortion will be 100% safe? Are you sure of that?
The government is able to provide well-equipped facilities.
My question...
Give us professional medical doctors I'm sure that they can give us a guarantee that whosoever that does abortion has at least 80% of safety, sir.
Is there any human being that will sign that guarantee for you in medical practice?
The guarantee to life is only for God to decide.
Guarantee to life is
God.
given by government. But I'm talking about medical abortion.
Okay, based on medical abortion.
Have you ever seen somebody who will sign guarantee that this procedure I'm going to carry out will be 80% successful?
Okay, if I understand your question well, sir, the life lost when the government legalized abortion and with good equipment will not be as compared to now that it is not legalized. So people are going corner to go and abort. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right. Please go ahead, Tim Ruby, and respond to the two questions that Professor
Thank you.
asked.
I didn't answer your question.
Yeah, they hadn't responded.
They've not yet answered their questions.
Okay.
Okay. You asked. Okay. I remember saying that there is a difference between abortion and the necessary evacuation of a fetus. This is only done when it has been ascertained by medical practitioners that the life of the mother will be in danger in cases of complications like this ectopic pregnancy. And also, well, thank you. That's the only instance I want to give.
Okay, thank you. From that she said, those of you that said abortion is a right of the woman, where is the place of the father in the whole setup?
Okay, so the question is, they do abortion, or they no do them? They do them. In a country where abortion is not legalized, we still do abortion. That is the question. Now, where the father comes in, there is something called family planning. The main reason why other countries legalized abortion was because of one, population, family planning, and for the health of the woman. So the father too definitely will support the wife. If the woman doesn't want it, it is the responsibility and the duty of the husband to support the woman. The woman cannot go into something that the wife is not in support of. So yes, sir, the two, both the husband and the wife, should be able to determine whether an abortion is done or not.
And adding to what she has said, when I started speaking, I said that most of these genetic abnormalities further leads to psychological and physical impairment, which affects the life of which will affect the life of this fetus, the mother and the father. I said that clearly. So we did observe and we did acknowledge the fact that the three of them are involved. Now the government coming in is a third party, mind you. That is what we don't want here.
The father is a third
Thank
party.
you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I think Prof's question is a relevant anchor to start from. You don't want a third party. I think the father is a third party as well, isn't he? Is the father a third party? Now I want you to answer. Is the father a third party? No, any of you.
The father is a third party.
And you don't want any third party?
The father is part of the family.
No, your statement was
the
we don't want any third party. I'm
yes,
asking you
we
based
don't,
on your statement.
We don't want any third party which will bring destruction to the family by telling us what we should live, because this is
Okay. I wanted to be sure. So you want a third party that
the
will tell you.
government is coming in to intrude. That's
Okay.
what we mean.
So okay, fine. Let me not get too sidetracked from where I'm going. First of all, let me just tell you guys, Caritas, you're taking on a very difficult topic, and I must acknowledge that it's a very difficult topic to defend. I mean, we live in a mainly conservative Christian country. What you are doing is very, very difficult, and I do envy you. In fact, much credit to you for taking up this stance. I know, I'm guessing, I'm sure there are many of you whose personal morals don't even go with what you're arguing about. But for the sake of the debate, market must move, and I appreciate and applaud that. For Team Ruby, look, what you brought up, what you're defending, I wouldn't say it's fair in a modern, postmodern world, but maybe from my point of view, it's a bit easy to defend. The fact that I shouldn't abort is easy to defend for me. Maybe from my own personal standpoint, don't get me wrong. So I was waiting to see, and I think I did get a bit of extra during the rebuttal. I kept asking, what else? It's not that you didn't have points. It's not that you didn't come across. Please don't get me wrong. In fact, to be very, very honest, your first debater is the only person in this tournament that has made me say, wow, I have to give it to you. I was impressed. You were flawless. Like, if I could score, being a lecturer, I can never score anybody 100. But if I could score you 100, I would score you 100. It's just that, as you know, that score is for God. And 90 to 98 is for the school. Then, 80 to 90 is for me. Then the students will start deciding from there. We all know how this thing goes. I know the professors I'm talking about. Anyway, look. So it was a flawless performance, and I think I love the way I always talk about threads. I love the way there was a cognitive thread from the premise giver to the first debater to the second debater. It wasn't just repeating yourselves or just saying random things, hoping to strike a nerve. I'm also a big fan of information. Where I will fault you is that you missed so many opportunities to go after your opponent. And this is a debate. You went after some things, but there's some very easy questions you could have asked that you didn't. But we'll get to them. But I will say this, as individuals and as a debating unit, you guys are very efficient and very fantastic, and I really enjoyed what you brought to the stage. All right, Team Caritas, question number 1. Where does life begin? Because we keep hearing about an embryo, a fetus. You know the meaning of the word fetus, right? What does it mean? What does it mean?
During gestation.
What does the word? It's a derivative. It means something.
Baby.
No, it means offspring. Offspring. Your offspring. It says nothing about the age. That's your offspring. Offspring means or connotes continuation of a lineage, meaning that's the continuation of your lineage. So for you to say that, separating cells. Now I understand for the purpose of the debate, but quality of information is always key to me. Let me ask you a question. You buy Dettol, you buy Izal, all those things, right? To kill what? Microorganisms. So we agree that there are single cellular things that are alive. So how is an embryo not alive?
An embryo is alive. But
No, so my question is, because we keep talking about this thing of the point where I know they said life begins at conception, and you're countering that somebody should be allowed to abort. I ask this because you say the woman should have the right, whatever she wants to do with her body, and I agree 100%. I am a staunch federalist, and Republican-minded, which means the individual is key. I don't really believe government should have power over anything. My question is, if the woman should have the right over her body, does that also give her the right over the child's body because it's dependent on her? Does that mean that if I have an elderly patient in the house that is not cognitive, I'm allowed to kill the person because they are a burden?
No.
Go
exactly.
ahead.
You said, does that give her a right over the child's body?
Yeah.
And like I said earlier during my debate, the terminology child is used only after birth.
No.
That is only when. Yes, according to essential biology, the terminology child is used only after birth. While still in the womb, it's a living organism, quite all right, but it is addressed as fetus or embryo. And after birth, like the law says,
So till it's called a child,
rights.
it has no rights.
Yes, exactly. According to law,
who
because
determines
law
which
made the use
law?
of the word child. Yes.
No,
The child
I don't want to. I want us to be very
law.
careful of fallacies.
Excuse me.
I want us to be very, very careful of fallacies. You know,
Yeah.
Excuse
because
me.
yeah.
Excuse me. Please. In conception, once there's conception, life does what? Begins. Because what is only able to divide is what is alive. Do you understand? So it is that process of cell division that progresses to what we call fetus. And that fetus stage starts after the second trimester. That's from the 4th month of conception. Then it is after delivery that you start talking of child. So actually life does start after conception.
Exactly.
So you will
So
not
what
say-
I wanted to correct to you is the right to life.
Why does it
Life, not the right to child. Let's be careful of misquoting. Another thing I wanted to come to is this, right? It's just on a lighter note. Look, if a woman, right, let's say for want of anything, Natalie says she wants an abortion and I say no, I want the child, and Natalie decides she wants the abortion, she's allowed, right?
Yes.
Good. Now, if I say I don't want the child and she says she wants it, she can keep it, right?
Yes.
Can I abandon the child and refuse to support the child?
It's her choice.
No. If she gives birth to the child, is the man allowed to abandon? No. A man is legally bound to, you know that, right?
Yes.
To support a child. So I'm asking because of, and this is a lot of double standards you guys missed out and did not attack. You keep saying the woman's right, and Prof asked you earlier, that was the clue. What is the role of the man?
Like I was saying, the topic says abortion is a woman's right. And the government shouldn't decide what a woman does with her body. So here, what we are against is the government. But in the situation when it comes to the man and the woman, they simply need to sit down and have a discussion and decide whether or not they will agree to keep the baby or abort it.
All right. So, look, I'll because of the topic, I'll just assume that you're restrained by the topic. So I'll leave that out. But again, and this comes down to Team Ruby. You missed so many chances to go after your opponents. You didn't take. It's a very difficult position to take. And you know why I asked that question? It's a question I always like to ask. Are we playing God when we decide when life starts? Are we playing God? Because the argument now is when life starts.
Are we playing?
Like, who gives the right to life? Who decides? Is it you say a woman? The government cannot determine whether or not a woman will keep a child, but you're quoting government laws saying that they determine when a child is a child. So that contradiction is what I'm asking. Who determines who is alive?
It's God. God determines.
No, it's just the contradiction I want to address.
Oh, God determines when life starts.
When is that?
When
That
does
is-
life start?
When did God say it starts? Don't worry, I'm having fun with you, don't worry. But well done, both of you.
All right, thank you, Namdi. Dara.
For Team Golden, let me just hurry this up. What do you think about late-term abortion? Late-term abortion.
Late-term abortion. For me, according to research which I carried out, late-term abortion only occurs when the person has wasted time. Like you said, late-term abortion. And late-term abortion is when, let me say, the fetus or the baby has reached 2 or 3 months into the pregnancy period. And this period of time, it is very risky for the woman to commit abortion. But I still feel it should be her choice because it is her life. So she decides whether or not she wants to risk it. not the government.
Okay, late-term abortion cuts across abortions after a certain period up until even the 28th to 36th week of pregnancy. Now, a baby can be born at 32 weeks, and if a baby is born at 32 weeks, sometimes even 30 weeks, the baby can survive outside the mother, meaning it's a full-grown baby. What do you think about a baby being aborted after 30 weeks? Let me even say after 28 weeks of pregnancy. Some people abort babies even as late as 36 weeks. So imagine a woman that is 36 weeks pregnant. I don't know if you know exactly what that is like. People that are 36 weeks pregnant or even 28 weeks, they go and they get abortions. What do you think about that?
What I think is, at that point, the foot is already fully developed. But I still feel it's the woman's choice. It's still her body.
If I must say, the abortion, if it should be taken by that period, it depends on the woman's health, because we have what we call health disparity.
Where her health is not, her health is
If her
not.
life is not, then it's her right, it's her choice.
It's her choice.
It's her own body.
Can I ask you another question? Do you know how abortions are carried out? Do you know how abortions are carried out?
Yes.
Can you give me a description of how an abortion is carried out? Can you mention one or two of the tools that are used for abortion?
The, like telemedicine, the use of medicine. There's the one
The use of
medicine, that's drugs. That's
What are the drugs?
Like pills. Pills to remove it.
Pills.
The use of drugs like
Pills,
normal-
okay.
Yeah, all these
What
type-
pills?
I'm not in a position to say such.
Well, I mean, you did your research on abortion and supporting abortion. I would think you would have done your research on one or two methods on how abortions are carried out.
Okay.
What is the safest abortion method you know?
I think it depends on the doctor. It's the doctor that can tell the safest.
So that means you don't know how abortions are carried out.
On a general note, I know to some extent because I'm not medicine. I'm a management student. So
Okay, so
that's
you
what
so
I
you
would
don't
say.
know.
I'll just on a general.
Does anybody else there know how abortions are carried out?
Okay, they also use alcohol to remove a baby.
How do they use alcohol to remove?
Okay,
the
when a
baby?
woman is pregnant, sometimes it's possible she doesn't know, and she's such that lives on substance. So when she takes alcohol, so much of it tends to remove the baby.
Okay, so that's an accidental abortion. How are intentional? So how are intentional abortions carried out?
Pills, they use pills, and sometimes professional doctors also help. That is why
I know professional doctors help. What I'm trying to ask is, how do they do it? So it's if you had done a little research, you would know, okay, they use this tool, they use that tool, and this is what they do.
It looks like it's becoming a game of relay.
I think you guys should think and give me an answer. Let me move to Ruby. Now, Ruby, the fundamental question I have for you, because you touched a lot of things, what do you think about abortion in the case of rape?
First of all, I think the problem is from the sensitization. Because even at an early stage, I got to know that in cases of rape, there is something they call emergency contraceptive. This is even over the counter, pharmacies. Except, maybe if you are closer to the hospital, you can go for the more sophisticated ones. So I think the emphasis should be more on letting people know that in cases of rape, they should visit the hospital or get those things so that it doesn't get to the point of being sentimental and asking, should we abort or should we not abort it?
I really like
and
your
also,
answer.
Sorry, just a minute. Your emergency contraceptive, what is it doing exactly?
What is it for?
the emergency contraceptive, it prevents pregnancy.
I'm coming. Has the insemination happened?
No.
You see, my worry is, I don't know, I'm asking to be educated here. Because in this world, we have a habit of labeling things. That might just be very early abortion kits, but we're calling it emergency contraceptive because it's post the act. If you get what I'm saying. So I'm just asking, is it actually a contraceptive? or is it just a very early abortion kit?
If I can answer that, sir, emergency pills, I would not consider it an abortion pill because at that stage, there might not be a division yet. And you are trying to stop the whatever from dividing.
Madam, is the division pre or post conception?
Is cell division pre or post conception? Cell division, does it start before or after conception?
Before conception.
Before conception?
No.
I disagree with
So
you.
the division happens after conception,
Conception.
but you do have a point because when the sperm travels, sometimes it takes the sperm 3 days to travel to the egg, and it takes 7 days to travel to the egg. So if a person gets the kit right after rape, it is a contraceptive, not an abortion. So on that, I think you gave a very good answer. But I want to ask you another question because you kind of sidetracked my question, and I like that you did that. It was smart. But still, I'm asking you, if a person is raped, and let's say the person didn't get that kit, and the person wants an abortion, what do you think?
Okay. First of all, in cases of underage rape, and the underage child is already pregnant, if the doctor advises, remember I said, I keep emphasizing, if the doctor says that this pregnancy will endanger the life of this person, let us evacuate this fetus on time. This is under the advice of the doctor. But if it is in the case of grown-ups, a life is a life. There is no need being sentimental or whether it should be removed or not.
One more question for your team, and I will say at this point that you have a very good grasp on what we're talking about. So I really like the way you're responding to questions. One more question. What do you think about the death penalty? The death penalty. What do you think about the death penalty? Death penalty, yes.
Of what?
The death penalty, when somebody commits a crime and they're sentenced to death, what do you think about the death penalty?
Okay, and I think we only get cases of death penalty when it has to do with murder.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's right.
Okay, but if you
Yes.
think the death
Based-
penalty
based-
is... You've just said that a life is a life. So if you think the death penalty is right, then that means you think that there are some instances when a life could be taken.
Of course, yes.
So
in
if there-
cases of criminal offenses, even in the olden days, of course, we all know that even the dictate of the Constitution is taken from the customs and traditions of the people. Even in the olden days, committing crimes comes with penalties, even death penalties. So it didn't start today. So in cases, anybody that has the ability to take another person's life should also go for it.
Very good. So I agree with you. The only thing I'm trying to clear out is that when you say a life is a life, and when you put so much sanctity on the value of a life, even in the case of a death penalty, they're taking a life. And my question now is, in the case of rape, an injustice has been done. So if an injustice has been done in the case of rape, how do you then say a life is a life? Because someone is still suffering from that injustice. So that's the only reason I asked about the death penalty. I think it's a bit inconsistent to say that, okay, it's fair to take a life because a crime has been committed, but in the case of rape, a crime has also been committed.
But the child didn't commit the
The child
rape.
didn't, but you make the woman a double victim by forcing her to keep that child. I'll go back to Golden just to see if you have an answer. But again, I want to commend Ruby. You have really shown a good grasp on the topic by the way you've responded to questions. Golden, before you answer, the girl wearing glasses, you've also shown, I don't know why you weren't a debater. You've done very well. All of you have done very well. I just want you to push aside emotions and think through the questions and give an answer. Don't just give us a well thought out answer.
Okay, honestly, we don't really know how an abortion is done. But what I know is that there are 3 types of abortion. They have a required abortion, requested abortion and cosmetic abortion. And these abortions has their ways of removing it. Just like a requested abortion, when a woman doesn't really want the baby, she's not ready psychologically, financially, socially, she's not stable. Requested abortion, medical health demands that you should take away this baby. Cosmetic abortion, it might not really be medical health, it might not really be other factors, but some other factors that are just to the woman's own. Just like the Western, they take care of their body image, the population, and all of that. So now, something like required abortion, most of them don't even visit doctors. They take pills, alcohols to take away this baby. Now, requested abortion, medical professional doctors do these things for them and to grant them a safe abortion. Same with the cosmetic abortion.
Thank you. The reason I ask this is because medically it has been shown that abortions are extremely painful for babies. Abortion has been likened to torture when it comes to babies, especially babies that are late term. So the reason I ask you that is because although your focus is really on the mother, the fetus, as you've described, is in the womb and is alive and can feel at a certain point. What I would have wanted to see from both teams is, can we establish when that fetus begins to feel? Can we establish when that fetus begins to kick in the belly and show signs of, show extra signs of life? Because yes, life is life, but there are extra signs of life, right? I would have expected you to talk about some of those things and probably draw a line, which is what they have done. The spectacular thing that they did is they didn't come out swinging saying no to all abortions. They were able to draw their distinctions and draw their boundaries on, okay, abortions are all right when it comes to this and when it comes to that and when it's emergency and when it's medically required. I expected you guys to somehow find the nuance in the little things in the argument and say, you know what? Maybe late-term abortions are unconscionable. Maybe late-term abortions are really bad because how they do it really is they inject the baby for the baby to have a heart attack. And after the baby has had a heart attack, they begin to remove parts of the baby one by one. Sometimes the arm comes out first. Sometimes the head comes out first. Sometimes the head doesn't come out well, and so they have to crack it some more so that it comes out. These are the gruesome details of abortion that many people don't know. And so coming up to support abortion, I really wanted to see that you perhaps had gone into that and still stood your ground. But nevertheless, well done to all of you.
In any particular order, please let us know your judgments.
Can I go first? Well, these two teams, great teams, I dare say. Team Caritas. Golden, yeah. You people were actually moving against the tide, and you did very well at that. However, at a point, you were not able to demonstrate good grasp of the subject. And when you are preparing for a debate like this, you never can know who is going to be the judge. And it will only tell you that when you are preparing, you prepare everything, read everything, and get facts behind your back. So on information and research, both teams gave good, verifiable facts, and I'm very impressed with that. If you can remember my comment about the first debaters, I was worried about people just making sweeping statements. But this time around, I saw people backing their claims with facts. So both teams, I give you kudos on that. And then the first speaker of Ruby, not the premise giver, but the premise giver was good, but the first speaker moved, right? You won my heart. Yeah, really. So, talking about information and research, I am proud of both of you, but like in every competition, somebody must do better. Ruby did better on that. And persuasion, you people were persuasive enough. So both, in fact, I give you equal marks on that. Then on delivery of points with flawlessness, because I wanted this thing to flow. And that's where that lady in glasses caught me. She stood firmly. Some of you tried, but you couldn't counter much of the onslaught from her. So on that one, I gave it to them. Then on etiquette, you guys were great. No insults, subtle insults. I didn't notice one. So you guys were great on that. Then very interesting points. Yes, there are very interesting points on both sides. But of course, Team Ruby won that. Uncomplicated and easy to understand points. When she was asking questions, I was waiting for people to flounder. But this team, because that's where I wanted to retract the mark and give you, but still they managed to scale. So unexpected wow moments, I didn't really get too much of that because maybe it's coming from my background. So not much you were saying that I really didn't know before. So I wasn't too much impressed with anything you were saying. But at the end of the day, I gave it to Team Ruby. Thank you.
Team Ruby, that's one vote for you. So please calm down. We still have 2 judges to go. All right, Nnamdi.
I mean, it was a case of individual performances, I must say. I think I forgot to mention this the first time. I just talked about the last team that left, their premise giver. The premise giver for Ruby was very good, very well stated. But I have to say that when characters came out, they came out with, if they had ended there, it would have been very, 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 very one-way traffic. I have to give credit to their premise giver. I would love to be a debater coming behind you because I know that already you've destroyed everything in front. My job is just to clean up behind. So well done. Again, still speaking of individual performances, there was a consistency across your team. Nobody did badly. And if I'm to be honest, without discrediting anybody else, with what you guys did individually today, the scores will take out most teams I saw. I mean, because not only was it very difficult, but even look, a lot of things I asked, I'm not expecting you to know everything, but I cannot at the same time say that you guys did not do your homework, you guys did not do your research. It's a very difficult and very terrible topic. People like me always shy away from it because, well, maybe because we're naturally terrible people, but unfortunately someone has to win. And again, it was an individual performance by the first debater that carried Ruby over the hump. Not to say the second debater was not almost as good, but again, if there was one person that was just the tip for everything, it was the first debater for Team Ruby. So I'm going to have to give Team Ruby this one.
Team Ruby, that's 2 votes for you. I mean, you basically already won this, but we still have to hear from Dara. Dara, please.
It's amazing because on my score sheet, I had given it to Golden up until it was time for questions. So their delivery, their persuasion, those things really stood out for me. And as a team, they were stronger. So I'm not Mobodo. You're very strong, but I would say as a team, they came across to me as much stronger. Up until it was time for the questions, then, I really just gave it to Ruby by a point. But what I will say is, so Ruby for me here is just 1 point ahead of Golden. And what I will say is, you are a much stronger team than many of the teams we saw last week. So I don't want you, these 2 teams came in very late in the competition, and I'm so glad that both of them joined. So I don't want you to leave this stage feeling like you lost. You're definitely a winning team, and I'm hopeful that we see you again subsequently. Of course, you're in the group, so we're going to release the results and you will know, but I want you to know that you didn't lose. They just performed a bit better. So congrats to both of you, but my vote goes to Ruby.
All right, Team Ruby, that's